All right, welcome back for the second semifinal of the night here on this NECC stream. I'm Alt Charge, joined by Chase Nuclear Nukem, and we've got Co College versus WCU coming up on deck. It's going to be a number 2 seed in Co College versus the number 6 seed here for the Navigators Cyan Division. Nuke, last game was a 3-0. Do you think this one goes a little farther in the distance, or what do you think the story's going to be before we hop into it?
It's possible, Berkeley. I mean, we are seeing the second seed versus the sixth seed. College has been on an absolute tear thus far in the playoffs. They 3-0'd Hastings last week, while WCU had a little bit more of a struggle against Lincoln Christian. Great director over there, directed by Fernando Preciado Leal. But I have to say, I got to give it to College. I think it's going to be a 3-0. That's my prediction. They make us do these predictions in playoffs, and it's never fun to say it's going to be a 3-0, but if I'm trying to give my most analytical approach that I possibly can, that's what I feel like it'll be.
Yeah, Code College has been on fire, but I think I got to give just one map to the side of WCU, but I do think Code College will be the victor. WCU, just like New England College, got here by beating a team that was heavily favored. They ended up toppling the number 3 seed in Lincoln Christian, and it's no easy way to get to the second round of the semifinals when you are a bottom seed and coming in as the 6th seed, barely having an over 500 record, and then showing up in playoffs is already an achievement in and of itself. But here we've got the lineup for it looks like Co College. We're going to have Joker dealing some damage, Bomberman as well, the DPS duo for Co College as well as Joker. We've got Anniance, Sassy Jesus, that's going to be a support, and then Sassy on the main tank always brings it, especially on Reinhardt. And then we've got Knife Voltage and Creed coming in. Creed will be the support alongside Anniance. Nuke on the side of Western Colorado. Who we got?
Running into the lineup for your Western Colorado Slate team, we have at the top Disagree, the Mr. Mango, MWM, Boo, Spongy Boy, and Hoodie Tofu. As you're looking at this roster, predominantly sophomore freshman roster, looking to make their run. And an interesting point that I had not thought of, Alt Charge, is College and WCU were the final regular season placements against each other. And while College did take the W, then it was a 3-2 victory. It's very, very close. So I'm going to redact my statement earlier, and I'm going to have to agree with you. I do think that WCU might be able to take a map here. However, it will be a tough fight because College is coming in 100% prepared.
Yeah, Western Colorado, they're in fight mode, tooth and nail every single map. So, I mean, they've already been playing since round one, like their season was on the line. They knew they weren't the favorites. They're not going to be the favorites in any of their playoff matches. So, they really have to bring it in scrims, come prepared, and always be game ready. Always compete at that highest level in scrims because you're going to be playing teams that are better than you on paper. So, even when you're practicing, you've got to give it 110%. In round one, they started that way. Here, we're going to be going to Oasis for map number 1. We'll see if they can continue to bring it at that high level. Nucleus is the same map we led off with in our last set, and it was one that really wasn't that diverse. It's not something where you get a lot of looks at the other team. Usually, it's just brawl heavy. You don't actually get that intel if a team can bring it with a dive composition. So that actually makes the second map choice in hybrid pretty tough. Do you think it's going to be more of the same this time around?
Yeah, I mean, just like we saw from the New England College Grims, they tried to run the dive composition on Oasis, got pushed back by Kings a little bit. So we could see the same sort of story play out here where we see a dive maybe start to form, take shape. But ultimately, I do agree with you. I think it'll come down to who has the stronger brawl on Oasis to take the dub. You do get very little information. However, we could see some picks get thrown out and information could be had from that. So going into this match, I'm going to be eager to see who has the stronger Reinhardt and who out of the offbeat DPS is able to get into the backline harder and cause some havoc.
And with Hybrid being our second pick of the night after this opening control map, Oasis is one where you do get to actually kind of feel out the opposing team's brawl composition, so it gives you some maps that are pretty clear cut to knock out of the map pool for our pick ban system that we have. The losers will be picking the map, and the winners of this map will be picking the attacking or defending side. So there's actually a little bit of an advantage you can have going into the second map. You can knock off King's Row like we saw and bring a totally different composition, but here we've got our first fight about to be underway, and I love the compositions here. WCU running Joker, the head of the spear here, slamming in, unable to find any eliminations there, but supports were traded out on both sides as Creed and Mr. Mango fall. Now we've got Bomberman riding up on the high ground, waiting to pounce, but it's going to be Joker pouncing first, eliminating the second support for Co College, and now their tanks are just hung out to dry, as are their DPS. MWM falls there to Sassy Jesus, and the first point taken by Western Colorado.
That was a beautiful slam to kick off the fight from Joker, knocking up Mr. Mango in the backline, and Sassy Jesus getting a solid hammer swing on Mr. Mango, taking them out very early. That pretty much set the pace for the rest of the fight, allowing WCU to push in and take the point first. Bomberman getting a cheeky melee off on Hoodie Tofu, and continuing this dominance on point, now sitting at 30%. Co College has to regroup and get back to make a play.
Yeah, and it's always important to regroup as quick as you can, because in our first game that we watched, we actually saw a first fight take far too long. That actually cost NEC the opening round of Control. We're hoping that these are much more swift re-engagements here.
Very, very true point. Also true is this Gravitic Flux coming out, taking 4 in the air, slamming down. That's Hoodie Tofu. They will get the Immortality field for it. There will be Helix Rockets coming out on Joker, taking them out early in the fight. And this is Co College's fight to win. They just have to push in, find the damage where needed, as they are now up 2.
Still tough here to find those last couple of picks, and it looks like they really want to take control of this objective. Mango doing a good job here, finally healing up Spongy Boy, who has been frontlining a ton of damage in this fight, and it looks like the flip should come through, but it looks like just an incredible stall here from the Doomfist composition to get back in and recontest. That probably bought them about 15% of that objective.
Very, very true. It did buy them a little bit of time, but look at Co College. They do have 3 ultimates, almost 4 with that tactical visor online, which puts them in a very nice position as they're looking to defend. We see Hoodie Tofu slowly fall off the top edge. Joker trying to make a flank going in, but we are going to see the tac visor come out from MWM. Take out 2. Caught a Modern Warfare because Legs is on the move.
I love it too, locking in the double hit scan composition and making it work, especially on probably the only point here of Oasis that is going to have a very oppressive high ground for hit scan to really work with. But on the side of WCU, it looks like they've got a lot of ultimates coming online, Nuke, so they could be taking this point back, but they've got to be careful with that ult economy, as they don't want to give up too many, or that they aren't able to hold down this objective for the final fight, because where they're sitting at right now, there's still some time left in this game, even if they get the point back for another recontest and another engagement.
And I love that they held their ultimates, their ult charge. I think that was super smart of WCU to just wait it out. They lost 2 before they even went in. Speaking of losing 2, MWM takes out Joker, and the fight ensues with a Death Blossom from the heavens by Bomberman, followed by an Earth Shatter. The Quake heard around the world. Co College trying to continue this push, and they're going to take out multiple. WCU now stuck on the back foot.
Yeah, Sassy Jesus registers one on the Richter scale right there, just slamming down the ground, and I love it. So, chat, gotta catch you up on something real quick here. The teams were actually backwards. Co College was the blue team this entire time, and after we read the rosters, I was pretty sure about that, but I was very confused and didn't want to just slip up there. So, right now, it is a very even game, which is lucky. We don't actually have to differentiate which side has an advantage, but right now it is Co College holding this objective down, and WCU State has to retake here if they want this round to continue.
I'm Midwestern, I see an oopsie, and I ope. We're seeing the drive and the dive in the back line. Joker with the massive slam onto the Ana, now looking for a final pick. High Voltage to take out Disagree. Joker trying to make a clown of the rest of the WCU roster.
Oh.
But it has been a valiant fight. However, it seems as though Co College is looking to take this first point.
Hook College locking it in on a wonky composition here, having Joker on this Doomfist, the spear, the tip of the spear for this brawl composition. Sassy Jesus loves to play as far in the front line as possible, but here Joker is just able to open up a little bit more space, which allows Sassy to be that much more aggressive. It pays off for them here on the opening round of Oasis. They are rewarded 1-0 the score so far. College, we're heading into our second point, Nuke. Does WCU make any changes to adapt to this composition? Because that was a very even round.
I don't think so. I think that they try to tweak a couple of things and they stay together. I think the main issue here is that Doomfist. So maybe WCU decides to go off on a Junkrat, which could work against this composition, but I feel like that was working well for them. And actually, it looks like Boo is going to make the swap over to Reaper, which could also have some value. Joker trying to get a slam in. All it takes is a quick shift to get out of there.
Yeah, also Boo having those Hellfire shotguns. Joker's hitbox is massive on Doomfist, so a lot of burst damage, especially burst damage that has to be executed with a spread out of a primary fire. Pretty easy to hit despite Joker's insane movement we've seen so far, but I like this. College taking the high ground for this first engagement, not going in just yet, letting WCU put themselves into what might be a kill box. Off the map goes Disagree, but might be hopping around the walls and hanging in here. Joker almost gets knocked pretty low in this opening fight, but it's going to be College now shifting their position to the low ground as both teams contest point. Joker falls early to Boo. That Reaper pick paying off so far. Multiple kills now confirmed for WCU. Bomberman trying to make a play, taking down Boo. Disagree, fell off the map, forgot how to stay on. Those skates weren't sticky enough to ride the walls, and now this one is pretty much evened up as WMW, or MWM, dyslexia, coming in clutch right there. Still, Nuke, this one
is a tough one. I can't agree more. Sassy Jesus, Yas King pushing in the back line, taking out as many members of WCU as possible. Joker trying to fan out this Ana. Mr. Mango on the corner, trying to get a sneaky anti-nade, but is it going to be sneaky enough with Joker on your high end? I don't think so. And yeah, like you said earlier, Disagree falling early kind of paved the way for College to take that fight 6v5 and continue the push. Hoodie Tofu, that's going to be that with the Gravitic Flux. Ooh, and it's going to get paired with the High Noon! MWM taking out multiple, and they are looking to recap this point.
And what we see so many good teams doing is actually spacing out their ultimates to gauge the value that each one gets. Right there, what I saw WCU do was use the Nano, the High Noon, and the Gravitic Flux all at the same time. It's going to win you a fight, but you might be overspending in that situation. The Flux plus the High Noon was going to find you 2 picks. You may not have needed to Nano Boo. That is an ultimate that could have been more helpful this next fight, but we'll just have to see.
True. Sassy Jesus pushes at 93% to the Earth Shatter. Might be enough. Kind of about 300 health. Looks like they're trying to get around to high ground, but they're not going to have the shield charge to do it, so they're going to be stuck back in this corridor with 97% on the clock. That's going to be Diva around the right side. Spongy Boy looking for some picks. Sassy Jesus in a comparable position, and that's going to be the beat drop. Boo gets taken down with Rape Form up, and we are going to see the Earth Shatter dropped. That is now College trying to push in. WCU retaliating strong, though, and picks are coming out left and right. That's Knife Voltage still alive, though, able to take out this backline, and that is a deadly combination of Niance. Forgetting that they're the healer and finding 2 quick kills as well will push WCU back into the spawn room.
And Anniance, a great job by her, the first support to actually get involved in the damage dealing aspect of this game, finding a couple kills up in the feed in that last fight. That's always what you want your Baptiste player to be able to do, is not just heal up your team and have good cooldowns, but always be able to find that precision damage. After all, it is a hit scan hero. But now we have Boo TPing into the backline, but caught out. Joker lands the headshot, but it will be the Cole Cassidy on the side of Western Colorado finding a 2K. Bomberman tries to counter and buy back into this fight in the form of a Death Blossom, but it's not quite the price they were looking for, only finding the kill on to Disagree. And here we just have MWM going to work, holding down the backline, pick after pick by way of the Peacekeeper, and this should be a flip, Nuke.
This is a much closer point two, but that is going to be both of the healers coming in, trying to stall out a bit of time, and they will do so. Ooh, that's also going to be Joker coming in, stalling out a little bit more time, 83%. Now, I think that was a very smart call from Co College. They recognize that WCU is going to get a solid 10 to 15 seconds on the board, and they needed to get a couple more seconds so that when they flip, they're going to force it into last fight territory if they're able to flip.
At 83%, WCU will have time to get back to the point, but the pressure's going to be on, and that can totally change how you engage a fight. Here, though, it's the self-destruct from Voltage to kick this one off, and it finds the pick on to Disagree. Disagree had that sound barrier. They're not going to have that this fight, and it looks like Co College taking full advantage of that, but now this one is evened up 4-4. Make it 4-3 in the favor of Co College, and they are diving in aggressively, but it's going to be WCU investing even more. The stun lands there on the Bombermaker, not letting that backline flank pay off. And MWM, the Cole Cassidy for WCU, may have actually won them this last round because the carry in that last fight was so great.
I don't think it was just MWM though. Spongy Boy had a massive impact as well, taking out Knife Voltage very early, as we're now seeing the rest of Co College scramble to get back to point. It's unlikely they'll make it there in time. Knife Voltage jumping in, throwing the bubble down. The contest is winding down. They have less than a second, and that's not going to be it. They still had 2 ultimates in their back pocket. WCU taking that first point.
And I just want to touch on WCU. They really recovered their ult economy. They bursted out 3 ultimates originally to win a fight against Co College in that round, but after that, they weren't investing ultimates simultaneously, at least no more than 2. They always were able to gauge the value that each one got them, and I think that difference kept them more in check, and that's the reason they ended the round with ultimates, whereas Co College had nothing to work with in that last fight.
Yeah, Co College made some switches to make it to point in time, and unfortunately weren't able to do it. They kind of threw everything that they had in that second to last fight, believing that they would make it. However, what really put them down was Sassy Jesus being so low, and Spongy Boy taking advantage of that, taking out their main tank going into that final round. That was kind of a big brain play from Spongy Boy. But yeah, going into this last point, we're gonna see WCU make it there first. They're going to go to the high ground. We're going to see Joker remain on this Doomfist, but die very quickly as Co College is on a tear.
Yeah, Co College is on a tear. They weren't the first to the high ground, but anytime you've got a Doomfist that can just make some space for you, and then Bomberman steps up with those shotguns, it was a ton of burst damage. WCU not quite ready for it. The stuns weren't hit onto the proper targets. Hoodie Tofu and MWM, they've got a kit that can deal with a Doomfist and a Reaper, but it's still a skill shot. Even though a Flashbang might not seem it, if Joker's coming in with a speed boost or kind of tracking MWM's Flashbang, then this Co College team can really take advantage of a misuse of cooldowns on the side of Western Colorado. I think that's what we just saw.
I absolutely agree with you, actually. I think that that's a really good point, and it is a skill shot, because it's hard to see where that flashbang is going to land, right? That radius is a little bit deceiving sometimes. Sassy Jesus going in and pinning the wall. Expert play, looking around the corner here for an Earth Shatter, and that Immortality Field will keep them alive. Now in the back corner, getting a Shatter off on the left, but getting flanked on the right. That is WCU. Boo coming in and scaring the rest of Co College off a point.
And Boo staying aggressive here, uses that Wraith to reload cancel, but it will be Bomberman finding the Elam onto the Reaper counterpart on the side of Western Colorado, though it does not matter. Western Colorado swoop in, and they get the objective here in the 3rd round of Oasis for the first time.
Yeah, it is 58% on the side of Co College, and man, that Reaper Boo looking a little spooky. That Death Blossom is going to be online here pretty soon, and they do have the Nano to pair. But looking on the side of Co College, they also have a Death Blossom of their own, and they also have their Doomfist ultimate. They have the Meteor Strike coming in. Meteor Strike inbound, trying to get the top ropes. Oh no, that's going to be a massive Deadeye trying to be pulled, but Bomberman retaliating with a Death Blossom of their own. And it's back and forth, Berkeley.
Yeah, it really is. That was a good play by Voltage, the Diva player on the side of Co College, to step up and make sure that MWM's High Noon found no value, just diving in with the full defensive matrix to cancel that ultimate, and the pressure for Co College just kept up. They didn't jump down from the high ground, at least not all of them. Anayant stayed up there for some hit scan presence that's hard to deal with, and here it's going to be one Final fight, as it looks like Co-College are going to be upticking. If WCU don't take this fast, this should be final fight, but it looks like WCU, they've got plenty of ultimates to burn here, but Co-College coming down the staircase, getting aggressive. They fall into a gravitic flux here, comboed with the Death Blossom. Boo finding 4 picks, it looks like. Joker, Creed, Sassy Jesus, they all go down, not all in the feed to Boo, but Boo's damage definitely what found those eliminations.
Absolutely. That gravitic flux set it up, and Boo noticed that the rest of WCU actually was pushing in, and Mr. Mango got a massive anti-nade in the background. So as that gravitic flux landed, Boo repositioned, got in the corner, and said, "No one is hiding from death," and dropped the spooky Death Blossom. It was a great play from WCU, but if Co-College is able to just flip it over one more time, that could be map.
It would be map as they're starting to make their way up the staircase, threatening here. WCU engaged with the first ultimate, but it will be Co-College responding. The self-destruct, taking down Disagree. And now they're still just holding on to their ultimate, doing a good job of just gauging the value. Each and one of them gains as they come out. Creed tries to pop the sound barrier, but from too high up and not able to save Bomberman and Sassy Jesus. That's an ultimate they're going to want back. MWM popping the Deadeye to take down Anayans in the back line. On the side of Co-College, no longer, and Nuke. It is 93-90. This is surely final fight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is what you call muy unfortunado. Creed trying to get that sound barrier off, but not able to save the rest of the roster. Joker getting in with the sneaky tracer play, looking for the overtime cap that will give enough time for that Baptiste to drop a little window in the corner. And for Co-College to make their final stand here, Bomberman, 99% will stay alive for now, but the Death Blossom comes out, and the massive boop coming out from Disagree is going to put Bomberman off the map, and they have no win condition now. Co-College was put under, and WCU will come out on Oasis on top, winning map 1.
Well, I said they were gonna win a map. I didn't think it was the first one. I thought they were going to have to gauge Co-College a little bit and figure some things out, but here it is Co-College that has to do the figuring out, because I'm sure they were not expecting Western Colorado to come in and open up this set with a victory on Oasis. Here we do have the play of the game from the Western Colorado damage dealer, Boo and Nuke. We're gonna be headed to Hybrid next. It will be Co-College's pick. Given what we just saw, the compositions both teams played, it was pretty similar. Do you have any guesses as to where we might be heading?
Oh, I don't. I would guess Kings Row just because it's so popular, and I imagine we'll see it tonight, and I would imagine we'll see it in the next map. We could see Blizzard World, but I haven't seen a Symmetra from either of these teams quite yet. We actually haven't seen a whole lot of information. You bring up a pretty good point there, Berkeley. It's been pretty strict on what they've played. And oh, from the heavens, from the gods, I hear it now. Time to go to Kings Row. I called it, baby.
No.
Kings Row is where we're going next.
That was the
No?
band map
Not?
from the heavens.
Not?
The band map.
Blasphemy.
2
The
games in
gods
a
are
row.
lying to
Kings
me.
Row was banned. You never see it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you never. That's. I'm very surprised. You almost never see Kings Row banned.
Yeah, so another curveball here. It's actually going to be Eichenwald coming up next. So we get a little bit more map diversity than we had in match number 1. We started on Oasis. We went to Blizzard World here. We're going to be going to Eichenwald second. I think that plays well to Co-College. It's a good Doomfist map for Joker if they choose to play that. But as far as the rest of their hero setup, I'm really not sure what it's going to be. That's just all speculation for now. I want to talk about what WCU did right to beat the heavily favored Co-College in our opening map. Nuke, to me, it was not just damage dealers, but it was Mr. Mango, the Ana. That was a little bit of a difference there. Anayans was playing the Baptiste. Of course, cooldowns for both of those supports are incredible when used properly, but I do think Mr. Mango just brought a little bit more to the table with sleep darts, anti-nades, and of course, nano boosts. What are your thoughts?
Oh no, I completely agree. That's what I was trying to get to in that first point was these antis coming out from Mr. Mango are shutting down a lot of the pushes from Co-College. They go in, they have a strategy in mind, and then they're all purple, and they're like,
Not much you can do.
yeah, what do we do, right? There's not a whole lot. I mean, I guess you throw down the immortality field, but you take that down immediately, and they're just sitting ducks. That's exactly what we've seen. But we're going to go ahead and head over to Germany, go straight into the streets of Eichenwald, and see who will prevail in map 2 of your Navigator Cyan Division semifinals, Co-College versus WCU Slate. I think we may see Doomfist and May here. I think both are very good picks, both on offense and defense. And I think it plays to the play style of WCU a little bit better. Or sorry, Co-College a little bit better. Joker showing that they want to play that Doomfist, right? And Bomberman pretty much playing these hit scans. We could see them on the Cole Cassidy, but I feel like Ana has a lot more, or not, Ana May has a lot more value on this map.
Yeah, I think this one definitely favors the Co-College squad a little bit more than it would Western Colorado. I think Joker also plays, I was going to say, yeah, Ash, and I think also Echo. So this is a map that has some open skies for Joker to roam in case either Ash or Doomfist doesn't quite work. They could adapt with a flying damage dealer to their composition. On the side of WCU, they'll be attacking first here. If this is the composition they run out with, I love it. Eichenwald is a hard first objective to get to. Put up a second shield, have a Hanzo, a little bit more frontal damage with the poke. You're not going to be going on crazy off angles on this objective, so I like this assault that they're going with. Co-College is going to have a pretty tough time defending objective number 1, but this composition is a pretty good setup if they lose it for point number 2.
Which is a good point. They could. They could. And interestingly enough, like you said, Joker, we will see a little bit of a switch out. You know, I'm interested to see how Joker does. As they now push in, and they push in fast. We're seeing Boo on the Hanzo flipping around to the left side. Gonna die to Joker. Man, oh man, WCU already caught on their back foot.
And I didn't see WCU actually play this composition how it's designed to be played. Maybe that's because they have 2 long-range, more precision damage dealers, not quite a brawl presence on their DPS slot. What I like to see is Hoodie throw up a shield to just buy Spongy Boy some space to go in as Reinhardt and start swinging on the front line. Right there, they hung around the back corner. They never quite advanced. They never amped the speed boost and got aggressive. I'm looking to see him do that here as MWM playing a little bit of an off angle, making Co-College uncomfortable. There's a big anti-nade from Mango. That's what we talked about during our intermission. And the picks start to come through. Sassy, the first one to fall, but Joker with the big bomb. Robert coming to play on Eichenwald, finding 2 eliminations and sending WCU packing.
Joker showing that they have the mechanical aim as well as the sauce, opening the fridge and getting a little bit of taste of that. WCU not able to handle the spice and backing up. That was a great Bob drop. That Viper just launched up that ult charge super fast. WCU had nothing to handle it, and I think in a good way did not expend any ultimates, because now they have 3 going into this next fight, where Co-College only has a couple to bank on.
And this is the smartest thing WCU might have done all night, is actually rotate to this high ground, opens up the flux to engage, and MWM stepping forward with the Deadeye. They are going to ult relentlessly here. They want this point 1 bad. Sassy Jesus goes down to the Deadeye, and now Spongy Boy swinging into the back line. Look at this defense, completely displaced. WCU own this objective right now. As long as they can just counter a few ultimates that Co-College is going to have coming forward, they should have this one locked down. They've got 3 eliminations so far in this fight. Make it 4 as Creed falls to Boo, and it looks like Nuke. This one is all said and done, but coming back with a big slam is Sassy Jesus, but it is too late.
Yeah, Sassy Jesus attempting to buy some time. Not sure if I agreed with the Earth Shatter there. There was a lot of ultimates already expended, and sure, it could have bought a couple of seconds, but realistically, there was unfortunately no follow-up at that point. WCU will take the first one with 3 minutes and 48 seconds left, but this is a tough push, Berkeley. This is one of the longest pushes in Overwatch, trying to get around this castle, or around to the castle. Looks like Co-College going to set up on the high ground and try to set up a Death Blossom for Bomberman.
Yeah, and what I see a lot of these teams doing is engaging early on this first choke. Bomberman coming in, lands that Death Blossom onto 1, but it's now a 5 versus 5 as Bomberman goes down in the works there. Had to jump down from that high ground, such a safe position to give up. And now it's a 4 versus 4 as kills continue to trade here. It is anyone's game. It is scrappy here on the low ground. No one taking advantage of the castle but Joker. Finally steps up there. The hit scan on the side of Co-College sees the valuable ground and starts to snipe from it.
Yeah, Knife Voltage holding this corner, trying to get the rest of the team out as they're looking to hold right here. They don't have the resources to do it though, as Creed will fall, and the rest of the roster once again is anti the initial grab attack. Will actually take out Anniance, and it looks like the multi-foe will take out Sassy Jesus. That Stormbow be hurting WCU, proving themselves deadly with this comp. Disagree, almost falling to the baby diva, the DMEC Knife Voltage. Knife Voltage getting reset, and WCU is putting the pedal to the metal. College not able to find a response quite yet for this roster. And man, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Mr. Mango is doing so much for this roster right now.
Yeah, it seems like every fight there's a big anti-nade, and it's just always finding value, but here it's going to be Voltage as the defense comes out of spawn with some thunder. That self-destruct, finding the backline. Mr. Mango, the first one in the feed to go down, and here it is, College just spilling out of spawn, finding all the picks, and they will continue to hold second point. Nuke, what I wanted to say after that first fight on second point is that I think the mistake that College made was hopping down from the castle. Don't give that up. Just let the payload go that insane distance that you were talking about and continue to be so tough to kill on the high ground. They didn't do that.
Yeah, they hopped down almost immediately. And it started out with Bomberman trying to get that Death Blossom out. Only found one, and that Reinhardt shield saved a lot of the WCU roster. Shout out to Spongy Boy over on that pick. We are going to see the Onanade come out, as well as the ult, and Spongy Boy pushing to the back line with the Nano on the back pocket. And it's back and forth. Both rosters dishing it out. College seems to be on top, though, and they will take out two more, leaving WCU back in the spawn room. Man, let's talk about these past two fights. Knife Voltage throwing out a massive self-destruct at the beginning of the last fight, taking out both Mr. Mango and Disagree to put WCU back a little bit. They came back, tried to re-engage, and narrowly lost that fight. But looking at ult economy, it is still even. That's what I'm loving about this division. This is Navigators, but they are playing their ult economy better than some of the other divisions that I've seen all season, Berkeley.
Yeah, neither team has a clear-cut advantage in how they're using ultimates. I think in this entire set so far, there has only been one mistake in that first nano boost of the game from Mr. Mango, but Mr. Mango popping off, having incredible nanos and cooldowns the remainder of this set so far, so I think that really, it's been relatively mistake-free. Here, it's going to be heavy investments from WCU, as once again, they are hungry for this objective. Spongy Boy lining up this Shatter, waiting to pop it, as it looks like a kid in a candy store. No shield in front of a Reinhardt with Shatter in the back pocket, but instead, swinging for the fences. Big fire strike there to scorch Creed in the air. I love the prediction from the projectile. Love to see the main tank have some mechanics. And in overtime, it does look like WCU are going to be able to get this.
I missed where Bomber
Wait a minute. No way. No way, Bomberman.
Count them twice. Berkeley Stevens, everyone,
These
with
Reapers.
the caster's curse. Putting them down. These Death Blossoms are going to be the end of this man's casting career.
I am not respecting how fast Reaper gets back into fights. That is twice tonight. And honestly, if I say that a team has it locked up, just take a look at the other team's ultimates. If there's a Death Blossom on the board, I'm wrong. I'm okay with it. That's a huge play from Bomber, man. I love the clutch.
I wish chat could see me. Chat, the best way I could describe myself in that moment was when he said it looks like they have it locked up. I looked at the camera like Jim does in the office when he knows that this is not the case. And that massive Death Blossom coming in, clutching it up for College, halting WC's push right before that last turn.
They have 2 stuns on their team, too. That shouldn't be a Blossom that gets off. That is a foolish Death Blossom, but in desperation, if you want to make a clutch play, of course you're going to send it in playoffs. It pays off big for them here, but I think that was one WCU could have answered, even though I didn't see it coming. These players are in tune. They're playing some of their best Overwatch. MWM has been on fire. That was one I'm sure they thought that fight was locked up just like I did, and Bomberman comes out of nowhere with the biggest play of the match so far.
If there's anything to take away from this, it's defy everything and prove nothing. I love you, Berkeley. That was an absolute mad lad of a play from Bomberman. Oh, what's this? What's this? The strats, the TP up top, going off the May wall over the top, Bomberman in the back line. They are not expecting this. Co-College pulling a Hastings and getting to this point Toronto.
And I love how Sassy Jesus just shields this whole time, knows there's picks to be found on the left side of this objective, and just keeps up that big old barrier to buy Co-College the space to find them. And now they're ahead 4 eliminations in this fight, and it is all locked in. WCU got caught unawares, and they paid big.
Excuse me? Excuse me? That was absolutely nutty. They took that with, I think, in less than 15 seconds of the round starting. They have 5 minutes and 40 seconds to make it so far. WCU hasn't built up any ult charge, and they made switches already. Oh, and that's them coming to the top line. Boo trying to halt this May push immediately, recognizing Co-College fighting for this up high ground.
And I would love to see WCU play this a little bit smarter than Co-College on their defense and just continue to stay on this high ground. They've got 2 hit scans to enable up there, but they're not going to do it. They jump down here, and now Co-College can just expend these ultimates. They're way ahead in ult economy, and it should be an easy fight to win, but still, they're going to invest. WCU, they're nanoing Spongy Boy right up in the front line, trying to enable their Reinhardt as much as possible, but this level 3 beam from Joker is so oppressive. These tanking resources aren't going to last forever, and now a play has to be made. Spongy Boy pins in deep into this point, and they've got to find some ultimate quick to use here because it's about to spill out. MWM finally able to take down the beaming Joker, and this one's spilling into the back half of point number 2, but it will be WCU playing their ground very well here.
Yeah, MWM throwing up the tack visor and the W for WCU, pushing back Co-College in no time to spare. They were almost at that final turn, and that would have been Co-College's map to win. Very, very narrow tack visor coming out from MWM.
And I like how they're getting right back up on top of this castle. It doesn't really matter if Co-College go underneath. You can open up your hit scan angles here. You can horseshoe around and take this fight from multiple angles. Co-College, though, they sense no one's up on the high ground. WCU is playing this pretty much backpedaled all the way as far back as they can go on point number 2. And now Co-College get a relatively free rotation into point, but it will be WCU opening up this fight with a couple of ultimates. The Flux, the Nano onto Spongy Boy, and now Spongy has this Shatter lined up ready to go, but hasn't quite found an opportunity to pop it yet.
Ooh, and that Blizzard, I was waiting for Bomberman to throw that Blizzard down, and it's coming down now. We are going to see a dive in the backline. Sassy Jesus trying to get a sassy kill. Going to get stopped by MWM. Bomberman
no shield and
a
a Shatter.
Boo. And there it is.
No!
The Shatter, oh, the boop! The boop off the map. Creed putting out Spongy Boy, and that's MWM with a second tack visor, putting WCU on the haunches of the shoulders, saying, I got y'all guys, and that's another massive anti-nade coming out from Mr. Mango before he falls to Bomberman. They're now pushing the
Big sound barrier.
and WC doing everything that they can. They're going to get a beat, and another counter beat, a Shatter, and another counter Shatter. It is an all-out brawl from both of these rosters.
It is a slugfest right now, but Joker, the playmaker in this fight for Co-College, lands the pulse bomb at the end onto Hoodie just to cap this one off. And with over 2 minutes 30 seconds, it will be Co-College winning out a scrappy final fight on Eichenwald and tying this one back up 1 map apiece.
Everyone do me a favor. Turn to your nearest library or dictionary you have near you and look up the definition for tit for tat, and you will find that fight we just witnessed. Of course, play of the man coming to Bomberman, clutching out that round for Co-College. And man, we're moving into map 3, and I don't know what to believe anymore, Berkeley.
Yeah, I mean, this one is just going to be back and forth like that. If it wasn't for that clutch play of the game from Bomberman, this map would have been a completely different story. It would have been WCU getting that second point, going into third, and probably steamrolling because they were looking good all Eichenwald, but it is going to take plays like that every single map, enormous plays that you're not going to see coming, or at least I'm not going to see coming, to just sway the tides and lock down objectives. Nuke, we're tied up 1-1. We're going to escort for our very next map in the set. It should be very exciting. Let's keep up that energy, but chat, we'll see you after a short break. All right, we got a game on our hands here for the semifinal. Both of these teams tied neck and neck, trying to buy a ticket to the final dance in Navigators Division. I'm Alt Charge, joined by Chase Nuclear Nukem, and right now, Nuke, we're going to be heading over to our first escort map, and I do believe that Junkertown was banned, and we're going to be heading over to Route 66. But do you want to just catch us up on how these two teams got in this position?
Absolutely. We got the bracket right here in front of you guys, so you have a good chance to see kind of the storyline that's gone in the background. Lincoln Christian took on WCU. WCU did take down the third seed to advance on, now taking out Co College. Co College 3-0'd Hastings to get to this point. So whoever wins this will be at the top of the Navigator Scion division. And interestingly enough, we got Nationals around the corner. Over in the yellow division, which you guys can't see, is Huntington. And Huntington, as we've talked about all year, Berkeley, has a pretty big brain roster. They really like pulling out the strats. And I feel as though if Co moves on here, they could be a really good opponent for them. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got WCU versus Co still on our hands. And man, oh man, is this a slobber knocker?
Yeah, it definitely is, especially on Eichenwald there. Both of these teams making every single fight not a clean team wipe, except for that one where Bomberman came in and clutched it like crazy for Co College. All of these fights are going, one team gets an elim, another team gets two. The team that's now down a member finds a pick in some miracle fashion, and it just goes pick for pick. Every single fight seems to go that way. It's incredibly entertaining Overwatch that we've seen so far. And here on Route 66, I'm looking for more of the same. We're seeing the DPS players on both sides pop off, but we have talked about the difference in Mr. Mango's play, but on Eichenwald, didn't seem to actually matter too much for Co College.
Yeah, this could be a little bit tougher for Co as they push in. Joker will be on this Hanzo, which could add a little bit more value, though. Oh, looking at the high ground. There's Boo putting out the spooky Hellfire shotgun plays. Trying to make it around, but Joker looking for the heads. Going head hunting, not finding anything quite yet, and we're kind of at a standstill on this first corner.
Yeah, it looks like WCU set up very well on top of the Big Earl's gas station here, able to push back Co College's first attempt as they regain some resources. A good call there from their in-game leader to make sure that the whole team is in check. Let's go in fresh for this second fight and try to make our best move. Now that we know how WCU is defending, Bomberman goes on a little bit of an off angle here, now up to challenge the high ground as Boo has just been kind of oppressive from up on that catwalk, raining in some easy damage. Here we do have the first Dragon Strike launched out of the bow of Joker, and the first elimination finally found as Boo goes down.
Ooh, Boo. Joker finding the pick, the headshot at MWM now could halt that push. We are going to see a massive gravitic flux come out as well from Hoodie Tofu and halt the Co College push. WCU doing a great job of holding these corners and alting when necessary.
Yeah, alting when necessary. That's the key right there. They go down a member. How do you come back in a fight where you're down a member? Well, let's launch a Gravitic Flux. Let's use our Nano Boost, and let's try to hold this corner with everything that we've got, because chances are Co College don't want to invest that heavily into this part of the map.
No, they don't. No, they need... Yeah, they need to just build these ults up and find the picks. Right? They got Joker on the Ashe, so... Joker just needs to get a good flank and find a couple of picks in MWM. Mr. Mango would be huge here. That's Bomberman trying to get on the right side. Oh, we hear the tac visor popped out from MWM paired with the field. I don't know if that was a big brain play from WCU or if they were just trying to hold off anything Co College was pushing.
Yeah, it looked like the ebb and flow was starting to come back there for Co College, so they probably just got a little ahead of themselves. They're not able to find any elims with that. Now Bomberman poking and prodding along the back line. I would like to see Bomberman save that Wraith ability, that escape, for a little bit longer. We've got self-destruct coming in, comboed with the shatter, but the self-destruct goes a little too high and wide, doesn't find the elims. And it looks like Co College, they're able to stay alive here, find some picks back in this fight. They've got two. This is their best chance yet. Nuke popping the blossom. Here is Bomberman trying to get them even more, but it's going to be Boo instead.
Yeah, Bomberman was just in an unfortunate position with that Death Blossom. There was only the tanks around. There wasn't any of those juicy DPS or supports to get a pick from. So I don't know. I'm kind of left at a conundrum, Berkeley. This is really tough for Co College to get this push. WCU just seems to have this corner on lock.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, this is their map pick. They clearly have a defense designed for it, which is what you like to see in a tight series. Teams performing very strong on the opening objective of their map pick. But Co College, they switched up their composition a little bit here. They've got to start claiming some more valuable ground. I like how they're not just all sticking along the corner here. They're trying to fight along the high ground, but Boo silences them with a quad. The Death Blossom let loose from the Reaper on the side of Western Colorado, finding insane value, and with just 6 seconds left, is Co College even content?
Wow, I don't think so. I don't think they're able to. I think they just get stopped and full held here. A prediction, I did not have Berkeley whatsoever. What a phenomenal performance from WCU. Like you said, Co College seemed to have the ebb and flow for a second there, but WCU just kept control of this corner that entire first point. And now WCU has a very, very, very small window to push.
Yeah, I mean, you could not set yourself up much better than this, especially after dropping Eichenwald to a 2-1 scoreline when Co College had plenty of time left on the clock to keep that push going. They looked like such a strong team just one map ago, and here it looks like WCU could end this game in the first 30 seconds. But I think the difference maker in that last one was how Boo adjusted their play and playing that catwalk, having that pounce aspect to the Reaper gameplay where they are able to fall in on a target or escape just because of their positioning being pretty much so much at large. They were such a high value target and they just could not get found.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't able to come out on top, and Co recognizing they have to play to all of their advantages. So I think everyone, safe to say, on their primary main picks here, and they're going to be holding up on the train wreckage very close to the spawn room doors. I'm going to try to keep WCU in the spawn room. I think they realize they really have nothing to lose here, right? If they get picked, WCU is going to roll it either way. So they might as well try to get this first element of surprise, if you will.
And it does not pay off. The damage dealer's already down on the side of Co College, and it is up to the front line to stay stable here, but that is not going to be the case. Mango lands a nice sleep there onto Anniance. And I mean, this could be the first point taken already. It is not far to go, just 30 meters away.
I love how cautious you are. Like, this could be the first
I gotta
point.
be now, dude. I gotta be.
I don't know.
Taking no chances.
We're absolutely right. Sassy Jesus will make it in time. Trying to find a pick on to Mr. Mango, but the Immortality Field will save both them and Beast. MWM with the Helix Rocket taking out the enemy Lucio. That will be Creed falling, and it just seems as though Co College right now is lambs to the slaughter, trying to get to point, but not enough time to group up or make really any coordinated effort at the end. That will be WCU taking map 2. And man, oh man, it is back and forth. WCU now ahead 2 maps was not what I was predicting for the series, Berkeley.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was Route 66 or Easy Street for WCU because they just decimated Co College, took all the momentum away from them, and it was this man right here doing the heavy lifting. Boo on Reaper, all around on defense, just stepping up their play, being such a pest to Co College. They've got some major adjustments to make as we go into map number 4.
Man, they do. Oh, man. Deep breaths, everyone. Everyone watching, deep breaths. Because for both of these rosters, this is everything. This is the semifinals. This goes straight into finals, Berkeley. And WCU is just showing that they want it. What surprises me is that Co had a really good strategy. However, kind of vice versa from what we were watching in the last series, it seems as though they're having a hard time picking the same targets to go in on. We watched that Doomfist and Reaper kind of split on where they were going, and they weren't on the same target. Therefore, they got picked, and unfortunately, that was WCU just saying, all right, at the spawn room, all right, I guess we're just pushing it, and that's exactly what happened. They pushed it the rest of the way. Going into map 4, what's your prediction?
Well, this is how I think both of these teams shake out right now. It seems like Co College, if they're able to get some momentum after the first fight, they keep it going. They don't let up once they've got that first fight victory. Honestly, I'd like to see them just make sure that they keep themselves in check. If their opening strat doesn't work, have another one in store. Don't just go at the map one dimensionally. Have a couple of different looks, even if it's not your map pick. This one will be, but if this game goes later, then it's not going to be. So, what I need to see them do is just be consistent throughout the game. Don't just give up once you don't get that first fight. Have a second look. And on the side of WCU, like I just said, it seems like Coe College, if they build momentum, they keep it going, stop it early. Make them actually have to make that adjustment, be the consistent team that has been hard for them to be tonight, and just honestly give up nothing on this opening defense.
I think, yeah, WCU keeps playing as they have, literally being on top of every single fight and making Co College want it. Like Co College did a great job on Eichenwald getting that high ground push with the May, and that was a really coordinated push, but flip flop to this map, and they just seemed like a fish out of water. They were not sure how to approach both offense or defense, and it just kind of blew up in their face, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it looked like on Eichenwald they had so many strats dialed in. I mean, they used a Maywall and a Sim TP to get over some buildings on the first objective. They clearly scrim a lot of strats on a couple different maps. We're going to be headed over to Hollywood next. So, Nuke, what I'm looking to see is if it's not their map pick, they better have some strats for it because right now it looks like they've only scrimmed the maps they're hoping to play. They've got to be ready to play any wrench that WCU throws at them because Route 66, I don't think is something we've seen at all throughout the entire course of playoffs. I don't think it's been in any game that's been on stream. So definitely not something Coe College was expecting. Coe College, you got to be ready for the unexpected. It's tough, but if you're going to win this playoff game, if you want to keep your season going, you've got to be ready for anything.
I can make the job easy. Your target is Mango. I think that's apparent. Am I safe to say that, Berkeley?
Yeah, Mango and Boo are working hard this game, Nuke. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but going into Hollywood, anyone could be a star on this map, and we could either see, WCU take it, or we're gonna see some massive opposition from Co College, and they're gonna take us into Game 5. Either is possible going into Hollywood. Based on the picks we've seen so far, do you think we see the Doomfist come out from Joker on this map?
It's tough to say. I mean, flashed it on the defense of the last map there on Route 66, and obviously that one ended very quickly, so it's probably hard to have confidence on that hero, but map number one had a great showing on Doomfist. I think you probably end up playing it here at some point, as Hollywood has a couple of different points throughout the map, especially on second and third point, where Doom can really pick and choose the engagements wisely and get a lot of value, but I would like to see Joker back on Ash a lot more. I think Ash on Eichenwald worked great for him. Attacking here, that is the hero that they have selected. We'll see if they come out of the spawn with it. WCU elected to defend first, which I just want to point out. I said that they have to stop them early and give their defense everything
True.
they've got. And let's just pay attention. If they win the first fight, how does Co College respond? Because it's been difficult for them to this point.
Yeah, I think Co College, on their first fight, they get as much information as they can, and they position the rest of the map around, or the rest of, I guess, the first engagement, getting this payload and taking this first point is going to be quintessential, right? So I think that they have a good comp. I do like seeing Knife Voltage on this Roadhog, maybe for these off picks, finding J Rizzle or Mango. Once again, we have switched sides again, so Co College is in the red, WCU is in the blue, and we are underway, ready to go. Knife Voltage trying to get some damage up on top, and that's going to be WCU taking that high ground. Knife looking for a pick, but not finding anything quite yet. Annias noticing as well, switched over to the Mercy, trying to get some pockets off the rest of this Co College roster.
And Mercy Lucio is a healing composition that has a very difficult time actually getting a ton of burst healing out, but with Voltage on the Roadhog, that actually gives you a little less work to do as a support in terms of healing your team. I'd like to see Annias just pocket Joker a little bit more. Voltage opens up this one with the hook melee combo on to J Rizzle to take down the Lucio substituted in for Western Colorado, and that is the green light for Co College to move up to the next corner. But here, they're hitting a little bit of a speed bump. Trouble keeping the momentum going after that opening pick.
Yeah, Knife Voltage going for a hook and getting slept in the process. Mr. Mango not allowing any of that in their house. Hoodie gonna find the pick on Knife Voltage as well, but that's gonna be Spongy Boy demeched, and the res will come out. A pick to follow suit Coe College has found their opening, but they're backing off because they notice that the TAC fighter's getting popped by MWM. MWM trying to play this corner, recognizing they're going around the side, but Hoodie Tofu gonna put up that wall, not allow that to happen. Joker throwing the Mr. Robert Bob in the back line, and that is gonna be a massive anti-nade followed up by a massive beat drop to save the rest of the Coe College roster.
Yeah, this one's still anyone's game. Sassy chooses to invest in the flux here. A rock thrown out by Hoodie, but it just misses wide. It is going to be Boo coming in with the Death Blossom that finds a couple eliminations, dealing tons of damage to the side of Coe College. And this attack could be foiled yet again as WCU start to come out of spawn. They've got 3 members back, and no one on Coe College is left standing.
Yeah, so Coe College took a bit of time to get to the point there, Berkeley. As we mentioned at the beginning of the fight, they got 2 picks and they got a res off on one of their own teammates, and they weren't able to get any value off of it. They rotated around that back line. Instead of, hear me out, they could have backed up, waited for the TAC visor to get popped, and just went through main, right? All they had to do was just push that advantage and continue to get the picks. But they weren't able to find it, and now they found themselves back at square one. Knife Voltage trying to get a pull out, but not finding it. Mr. Mango taking out Joker, who's now switched over to the Genji.
Yeah, this is starting to get desperate from Coe College, and this is what I was talking about. They lose the first fight, and they start scratching their heads. This composition does not look like the kind of Overwatch that Coe College would like to be playing. I mean, you have a Roadhog, and then you've got a Reaper and a Tracer. This doesn't synergize very well, and this is a team that is a higher seed. They are very good at synergizing when they're on the right comp, and Nuke, I don't think this is it. I think this is another case of them not finding momentum early enough in the round to get anything going.
I do agree with you. It's seeming to be a struggle as of right now. Knife Voltage trying to get this whole hog off on point. That's going to be Anias to follow suit. Looking for that mercy is MWM once again with the TAC visor. Bomberman dropping from the heavens, trying to get a Death Blossom, but not finding any value. WCU is just too reactive. They're ready for everything Coe College is throwing at them, and they have a response, it seems, every time.
And this will be the final fight for their attack. They've gotten no percentage so far. They're going to have only 2 ultimates to work with, and if we take a look over at Western Colorado University, they're going to have both tank ultimates. Boo will have a Death Blossom. Mango can nano Boo if they want to. I mean, this is going to be disastrous for Coe College, and WCU is on match point. This is the defense they could have only dreamed of, and it is coming to fruition here as 2 kills are found. WCU wants to punch their ticket to the finals, and it looks like they might only have an attack of 1 tick to take to do so. But right now we've got Bomberman coming back with some kills after getting resurrected. Alliance falls, and there's 1 member left standing, and down they go. Coe College, it is going to take a show-stopping defense to continue your season.
Yeah, they are going to have to tie this map, which potentially pulls up a map 6 in this whole series if they want to continue on. They have 0% capture process. MWM put WCU on their back and did the exact same thing I said last set. It's like having your older brother put his arm out and just on your head while you're swinging at him. You're just out of arm's reach, right? That's what we're seeing right now. And unfortunately, Coe College had nothing in the tank to respond. If I'm honest, and right now we are getting a pause request from Disagree. If I'm honest, that's what I was going to call Berkeley. That's what I was going to say. I think you go for a tactical pause here. I think you sit the team down. You have them step away from their computer and you say, guys, this is it. Get it together. Like we don't need to just be throwing ourselves into these fights after picking multiple characters. Pick a character, get the ult charge up, push as much as you can. If we get a pick, go off of that. If we don't, just keep building up that ult charge and let's synergize like we have been doing all season. But they seem very lost right now, Berkeley.
Yeah, and anytime you get full held, that can kind of mess with your mental a little bit in terms of what are we able to do? Is what we're picking working? Is it the right move? Right there, I think they just gave up on their composition way too early in that game. They started switching on wonky picks. I don't think they should have switched on anything except a different tank because it looked like that walk to point was too much for just one tank to handle. Sassy Jesus on the Sigma didn't have enough resources to get the team in, even when they had 2 eliminations in one of those engagements like we saw. So it seemed like the Roadhog, although it has pick potential, it doesn't have the value where you can actually get your team into the ground they need to stand on. And Nuke, now we're at a point where WCU is just 33.3% of an objective away from not just taking down the number 3 seed in round number 1, but taking down the number 2 seed, and they are just knocking on Valpo's door. They're like, bring on the number 1 seed. We want to meet you at the final table. We got our forks and knives out, and we are ready to feast, and they are doing that right now against Coe College.
Berkeley, it's like we say all the time, and not just in collegiate, but you come from a community league as well, right? You've obviously played console Overwatch in those leagues, and regular season is just for show. Regular season is just to get ready. Playoffs is where it matters. And that is what WCU is showing today. They have put their roster under a fine iron and they've just struck it as much as they can. And now they have that tip of that spear ready to go and they're launching into battle with it. As we're going to head back into the map, sounds like both teams are ready to go and the action is just a few moments away. Wilco College be able to retaliate and take this map, or is WCU going to punch their ticket to the finals?
And I mean, all of the casters tonight, except for user intel, the big brain also coming from console Overwatch, he predicted that WCU was actually going to win this one. And he's probably smiling right now if he's got his eyes on this game because they are playing out of their minds. And Coe College, it doesn't look like they've got it in them to actually defend this. They can only give up a tick. I would say if they got at least the first point and through a little bit of streets phase, this is more obtainable. But right now, WCU has all the momentum, and they just have to win one single fight.
Yeah, that literally, you said it best. They have to win one fight. Let's see what WCU does going into this game, going into this round. We got MWM on the comfort pick. He's back on Soldier 76. And actually, based on what we've seen tonight, Berkeley, it seems like everyone on the WC roster is on a comfort pick.
Yeah, that's something they've done, is they've played their game right now. They're rotating around under very much no pressure at all, using natural cover to navigate the map. There's another big ante from Mr. Mango himself. Just a showstopper in this game, and that is the green light. Purple means green in Western Colorado, and they send in for 3 kills. Fu goes down, but so much value found in the front line that this could be it. Western Colorado, your underdog, and Western Colorado is headed to the final.
What a game. Western Colorado University Slate scraping tooth and nail for this series and the win the endurance test. They come out on top. Play of the game going over to MWM. For good reason. I mean, these tactical visors on Hollywood were huge. I think there was 4 or 5 just on defense. Switching over to offense, I don't think they even had time to pull up attack visor.
Yeah, and MWM, there's a case for them to be player of the game, but there is one player in this game that we have said was on a different hero.
Hold on.
Every single map. Nuke.
Let me predict what you're gonna say.
You already know.
Mr.
It's
Mango.
not a vegetable.
It's a fruit. It's a fruit.
It's a fruit.
It's
Mr.
a
Mango
mango.
it is.
It's a mango. I'm with you, Berkeley. And I took the words out of your mouth, but I know that's what you're going to say. I know you're going to say Mr. Mango. The sleeps on fleek. The antes on fleek. The nanos on fleek. Mr. Mango came out to play. And after tonight, punching the ticket to finals, Mrs. Mango must be very proud.
Yeah, Mrs. Mango probably going to have 2 rings on those fingers as long as Mr. Mango slides off that championship ring they're hunting right now, because they are going to be in the big dance. And right now they're playing like a team that is just taking down top seeds left and right. They are calling for the number 1 seed. They want the biggest challenge. They want to stun everyone and just have all the biggest challenges just beaten. That is just such a way to go into summer break being like, yeah, no one thought we were the best, but here we are, the last one standing, taking down all the biggest names, and we're the victors. Nuke, so we agree. Mr. Mango, player of the game here?
Hands down. Locking it in, Berkeley. It's got to be Mr. Mango.
All right. I like it. So we're going to have an interview coming up, chat. Don't quite know who it's with yet, but before we jump into that interview and before we jump into our little break, Nuke, let's just talk about what this WCU team did tonight, because they lost a map in Eichenwald pretty handily. Coe College brought it to them there, but what did WCU do to respond? Full hold twice against such a high seed. Nuke, how did they do it?
Mental. I'm telling you, Berkeley, I transparently looking at these matches, it really seems to me as though it came down to endurance and mentality. After the first full hold, it's so hard to come back from that. And it seemed like Co-College was just playing so timid. They were playing a lot more scared going into the match and maybe giving WCU a little too much respect. And exactly what I mean by that is when they got that pick, when they were pushing on Hollywood and they got the res, they still decided to go around the backside of point. And unfortunately, they didn't. I don't think they realized they had the advantage. They were in 6v5. But we are going to be throwing it to a quick break first and foremost, and we will be back with the interview.
All right, what's going on, chat? We're joined by the player of the game himself, Mr. Mango. Congratulations, my friend. You played lights out
Thank
on
you.
Ana. You brought nuts value with the anti-nades, and on that last fight, I said that purple was green in Western Colorado. Would you say that that's true?
I would honestly going into this game. I was like, okay. Clearly we've been having some troubles through the early parts of the season. I'm thinking if you just put me in on Ana, I've been practicing Ana. I know what's up. I've been throwing these nades, and honestly, it felt like every fight I would just throw a purple into two or three of them and just scream purple, 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 go. And that's how you win fights in Overwatch.
Yeah, that's
To
the
be,
green light right there. I love it.
are you saying to be honest?
To be honest.
Honest?
Honest. It's honest. I see. You're the punny guy. I understand.
Dude, he is. I can't tell you enough how he's definitely the punny guy here.
I try. But Mr. Mingo, I gotta know, man. Coming into this playoffs bracket entirely, you guys have been through a tear. You took down the number 2 seed, you took down the number 3 seed. Now you're looking at the number 1 seed. Tell me, how are you guys prepping this week for that?
So going into this, I think we're expecting them to be running another Ryan main tank. So we've been having a lot of trouble in the Ryan v Ryan matchup throughout the season. So I think our new plan is to try and run a Diva Sig. That seems like it's been working really well for us, and it sort of gives us more of that backline pressure that I feel like we're missing when they have a Ryan and they just sort of walk at us, and we end up shooting the Ryan too much. I've felt throughout the season. So I think going into this finals game, we're really trying to focus on that. And other than that, I'm just gonna keep trying to hit the fat antes, and that's our game plan.
I love it, man. I mean, definitely don't swap off the Ana because no one else is really bringing that kind of value to the table. But I had a question for you. So the rest of your composition shakes up, of course, with the Sigma Diva. You're on the Ana. In the Navigators division, that's not something you really see so much. How did your team actually come into that identity? I know you said you have trouble in the Ryan v Ryan, but what made the rest of these heroes the go-to picks for the rest of your team?
So Hoodie Tofu is just so comfortable on that Sigma. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the rest of the season. He is just always getting fluxes, always throwing balls. Shout out to him as secondary MVP. And then other than that, we've just got a whole bunch of comfortable DPS. Like he loves playing the hit scan. So we're thinking, what can we run with hit scan? And then Colby, he's just sort of, or Boo, sorry, he's just sort of a flex player, and he'll just fit into any role. So we really just thought, let's play to our strengths on tank. We want to run something around this Sigma. The Sigma Ryan isn't working. Sponge said, all right, I'll pull out the Diva. And it seemed like it's been working. And other than that, our team just loves Lucio. So we love the Lucio Ana. We love all of it.
It's good to hear. Nuke.
Yeah.
No, giving it to you. Saying your name.
I was like, yeah. No, that's awesome, Mr. Mango. And so my final question for you is, the end of the season is coming to a tilt, right? It's very much in your guys' favor. You've proven that you're running the gauntlet and really writing a storyline for yourself in this division. Tell me, as a team, how are you managing everything going on? Because what most people at home don't realize is you're in school on top of all of this, right? So how are you managing school on top of, making these massive plays week to week and now finding yourself in the finals of this division?
Funnily enough, we spend most of our time on schoolwork here. We're very respectable college students, despite the fact that we play Overwatch. But we only practice once a week. So honestly, we just practice for 4 hours once a week, and we just sort of get in there, play some quick plays, see what comps we like. And I think that just exploring with more people in and off the team and just seeing what people like playing has been our really key to victory, because it just felt like we were trying to force comps so hard earlier, and we just aren't comfortable on a lot of those picks. So when we play to our comfort picks, I feel like we do a lot better, and we've found what those comfort picks are, and we've built the team around them. And I'm thinking moving into this final season, we're going to practice. I'm saying it now, 2 times a week this coming week, and they're not ready for us. They're not ready.
That's all the questions I had. Alt Charge, what's on your mind now? You got any final thoughts for Mr. Mango?
Yeah, I do. So you came back after losing Ike involved, and you lost, I don't want to say kind of handedly, but that is kind of how it played out. You only got 1 point. You got it toward the end of the second. They made a clutch play to stop your push, and then they got the objective with time on the clock. So, how do you come out and just full hold 2 maps in a row? Did you find a weakness? How did that all come together?
I think you're not going to believe me, but that 5-minute break that we got in between those 2 maps was really what did it for us. We took a second. We were like, okay. I mean, personally, I was pretty mad. I may have been the one telling the team what's what, what we got to change, what happened there, why we lost. And then after that, everyone was like, okay, let's just take a quick walk around. Everyone de-stress a little bit, get some fresh air, come back into it. And we made one position swap. We swapped out Disagree for Beast, and Beast on the Baptiste was just so clutch a lot of the times. Like a couple MOs that just saved 2 or 3 people, and then the extra healing output was just really what we needed on that Route 66 map. And yeah, like you said, that full hold, we didn't even really feel worried. We played off angles, we called where they were, and we played around them pushing in, and I felt like we did it well. It was not pretty. You were right about that, but we talked about it. We came back in and we were like, all right, we got it.
Yeah, it's nice to have that break. Not a lot of teams actually know how to utilize that break. A leader kind of has to step forward and be like, guys, we're fine. We won map number 1. There's 2 ahead of us. We can play the kind of Overwatch where we full hold them back-to-back maps. And you guys honestly had the best case scenario coming out of the break like that. So major props to you, especially saying that you were kind of the guy that brought the team together and leveled some heads out. So like you said, you were mad. You don't let that get the best of you, especially in the playoffs. Way to stay collected, man.
Thank you. And thank you for putting on the whole stream, the whole NECC. Thanks to everybody out there.
Yeah, so giving it to you, who do you want to shout out?
Personally, I like to shout out MWM and Spongy Boy. I think his tag is Spongy Boy. The diva was just so... as Anna, I'd been getting pressured, and we knew that they were going to run a Doom. So, Spongy Boy, shout outs to you, and shout outs to MWN for just being on the flank soldier, doing all that thing. And also, Mom and Dad, of course, you got to shout them out.
Very good, man. Very good. You gave the team props. You gave the parents some love. Hope they're watching the stream. I'm sure they are, and they got to be proud. The kid's going to the finals as a major underdog, beating 2 high seeds. Congratulations again, Mr. Mango. You're free to go. Enjoy the rest of your night with the team, because I'm sure there's nothing you want to do more than just celebrate this semifinal victory. So once again, man, congrats. Give it to the entire team too.
Yeah, the whole team. Shout out.
All right, well, Nuke, we got 1 game left on the docket, and it is not going to be us casting that one. It is going to be Purdue White versus South Alabama. Just to give our predictions, I predicted South Alabama in this one. Who did you have for this Challengers Division matchup?
Oh, Purdue White. I got Purdue White in this Challengers matchup. Got to rep the Hoosier boys over at Purdue. I think they're going to take it. But you're 100% right. User Intel and Bullskunk will be live for that. As for me, it's 8:15 in the Ambrose Augustana match. Or sorry, 8:25. The Ambrose Augustana match started about 25 minutes ago. So I'm going to be hauling hightail over to the university and checking out what's going on in that action. I could tune over just like everyone at home to, the mainstream NECC_esports.
Go to the arena.
Live. I got to watch it live.
Way better atmosphere. Best of luck to your team in that one. But chat, you better stick around, because if you thought these matchups between 2 seeds that were separated were good, we've got a 2-3 and a 3 seed on deck. Like you said, casted by Bullskunk and User Intel. User Intel got this one right. Predicted Western Colorado. I'm sure he's going to bring a lot of positive energy to the cast, but that is all for us tonight. I've been Alt Charge. He's been Chase Nuclear Nukem, and we'll see you on the next one.